with Pwan Group, PBO, PBO. Awesome moments. Wow. First of all, I want to thank the founders of this mission, the P1 Nation. I also want to thank my co-directors, the group executive directors here present and the ones that are not here. It gives me pleasure to also thank the PBOs of all the categories and our dear visitors that are here who came to experience what we have been enjoying. Sincerely speaking, it's actually a ministry. Like the chairman said, when this was entrusted in their hands, they never knew it was going to be like this. But they just let go, which means they obeyed. And in the course of obedience, you can see what it has turned out to become. More than 600,000 people are actually feeding from these products. Can we give a clap for them? Now, when you look at the 600,000 that is actually registered, we can say every family has two people, the husband and the wife. In some cases, there are four, husband and two children, husband and three children, 4, 5, 6. I have 7. Can you imagine that? Yes, so not in this economy, from the old generation. And to the glory of God, this has become something that none of us can close our mouth to talk about. We'll continue to testify about it. For those of you who are our visitors, this is how we roll. I can assure that in 26 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we are present as we speak. All those 26 states are actively active, and they are actually doing what we are doing now. So it's no longer strange for us to see that the lives of people are being transformed through this platform. And what I want to also let us know is that when you come on board, it will look like a child's play. Dr. Julius is the Group Executive Director, Marketing, and is doing extremely well. The Managing Director, CEO, P1 Plus, the owner of Cedarwood brand. Amazing. If you look at the group, all talents are involved. I have an engineering background. What am I doing in real estate? You have bankers, you have lawyers, you have trained marketers, you have all different kinds of people, especially at the group executive directors level, going down to the executive directors and also the MDs of various affiliates. Even some, doesn't have to be you have qualification, but the qualification of the P1 brand has actually made you to become relevant. Why? Association. Let's clap for the founders of this wonderful brand. Like some of you know, almost all my children are out of Nigeria. And, they hear about the negative things that are happening in Nigeria, and that is all you hear about in order to smear the name Nigeria. And so these children are scared. how would they come? I believe last year you saw some of them. And the moment they came, they were asking questions that, how will we move about? Because they draw a list of where they will visit. But how do we move about? And I told them I'll be your driver. And they said, Dad, only you? I said, yes, I am going to be the only one. I will lead you. And truly, for the 2.5 weeks they spent, they enjoyed to the fullest. By the time they went back, they went and told the other ones and said, look, Daddy is enjoying in Nigeria. We have to go and join him. All courtesy of Pwan. Listen to me. There is no limit to what you can achieve in Pwan. No limit. And so the only thing you need, the two you need, is you being present, dedication, commitment, focus, learning, studying, and talking. You need to preach about it. You need to speak. In the event that you cannot speak, go for seminars. You watch what happened now with the executive director of P1 Heaven. He hasn't stand on the stand to give a presentation. And today marked the beginning of such. And before you know, he become a professional. But by profession, he is an accountant. Look at that. So the ground is actually a breeding ground for success. For those of you who have what I call talents, when you enter into P1, it changes the dynamics for you. It changes the dynamics. So today, I am privileged, sir, and honored to be on this platform to present to us effective communication. Now, this is one of the major points that we can look at and say, how well am I doing? People think that it is when you speak, all right, that is talking. But naturally, I have to pass on a message to the hearer and allow the hearer to receive it, interpret it, and get the meaning of what I am saying. In the absence of that, that communication is not complete. And so you see people struggling. You talk about sales. He said, I am not a marketer. One of the speakers said, while he was here, who did this, the projection for registration. He said, all you need is for you to be able to reach out. Don't be ashamed. Speak. First, you will make mistake. The first time I was handed the microphone to address about 27 people, it was a struggle for me. It was during winter, I cannot forget it. And guess what? While I was giving the speech, I was sweating all over me. I mean, I was drenched. I couldn't take out my suit because homiletics in Bible study actually entails that you dress fit and dress well. So, we communicate, we talk, we go for sales and no results. We come and we say, but I am going out, I am actually ministering to people, telling people about the benefits and so on, but nothing is happening. Now, permit me to shock you. You are only talking, you are not communicating. Because the difference is that the message you are passing on to the hearer, if it is not clear enough, it is just talking. When it is clear and you get a response, which is the feedback, it becomes communication. makes it complete. All right? Let me use the example of prayer. Most of us, we pray, in short, we pray for 3 hours, 4 hours, right? No result. The reason you are not having results is what we are talking about. You are only talking to God. You are not communicating with Him. And when you are only communicating with God, when you are speaking with God, no result will come. Please, with a standing ovation, let us welcome Mama Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, please can we all be upstanding as a back welcome in our midst, the president and CEO of the Pwan Group, a woman, the created system, void of language, void of religion, void of ethnicity. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mama Africa. Please make some noise for no other person, our very own, our Chief Ambassador, Dr. J. Owuwere. Please, can you make some noise, ladies and gentlemen?
If you see my mama Hosanna, and I'm say, oh.
Paul, what's happening?
Awesome. What a glorious moment. You look amazing. Sir, permit me to praise her. It's just like when I met you the first time. And it was a remarkable moment for me because the glow was just too stunning. And that has been continuously glowing and transforming lives. Let's clap for Mama Africa. We acknowledge your presence, ma'am, and we thank you for the great work you are doing, giving opportunity to the less privileged and helping them to grow the ladder of success. Thank you very much. So like I was saying, somehow we go out, we talk, we don't communicate. As a result, we come back home crying. But I met people, I spoke to people. So there is need for you to understand that there is difference between talking and communicating. It's happening in our offices. It's happening almost everywhere. Now you wonder why is it that some people are also doing very well and you, who is also doing what they are doing, is not doing well. The difference is communication and talking. So there is need for us to understand that it is not about how much talk I do, but it is how much communication I communicate. When you get involved in the right communication, answers come like this. We have a system that's already in place. You go to the website, you get information. You come for seminars, you get information. You come to Success Summit like this, you get information. You come for conventions, you get information. You meet certain individuals, you get information. But sometimes pride actually lowers us to the barest minimum. Pride. And when I talk about pride, it is ego that I know it all. Let me tell you a story. I get to know Julius when he was the general manager of P1 Plus. Then I never sold for him. I was selling for P1 Homes and P1 Edge. But we used to meet. We would talk, communicate. Even at that time, I have not developed the interest of even getting myself involved up to this extent. I was one leg in, one leg out. At that time, maybe I come, 3 months, I'm out. I was buying return tickets every time I was coming. So it got to a point I told myself, I said, no, this has to stop. So I bought a one-way ticket and I came. So that time I became committed. And so we were always meeting in Pwan Edge's office, asked 1 or 2 questions. I was humble enough to ask questions. And gracefully, the operational system, I believe Julius didn't know that the tension I had at that time was to step into this. So I'm making an open confession today. But even at that time, the knowledge and the growth that he has was not what you can actually write home about. But there were interaction, and you can see the growth that was taking place. Gradually, through mentorship, through dedication and commitment. Look at Julius today. The issue here is pride. Some of us feel that we are too big to be communicated to. And so that ego will not allow us to humble ourselves to go to our juniors to get information. Ifeyiwa has been announced as the face of today's Success Summit, Lagos. Would anybody here be able to go to her and say, Ifeyiwa, how did you do it? But she has a circle of friends. Pride will not allow them. Why? A whole me. So communication is key. All right? Effective communication is more than just explaining information. It's about understanding what the other person is saying. And consistently, you need also to listen in a way that you get the full meaning of what the other person is saying. Let me give you an example. The Dangote refinery, that is a landmark that we use in selling the Lekki Free Trade Zone, have its own caveat. That most of us do not even understand that particular refinery, but we use it to market. But can I shock you? Some of your sales that did not go through was because of that refinery. The fear of chemical, the fear of pollution, the fear of the traffic that will be in that axis. They are not looking at the profit they will get. They are not looking at their investment that will grow. Now, for you to be able to break into that, you need to now get the information about that refinery. And one of the information I want to release to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is that refinery is a green refinery. In other words, everything that will be produced in that, everything that will come out from that refinery will be recycled. Therefore means there is no waste. Plastics will be produced from that refinery through the chemical, the petrochemical. Electricity will be generated from there. A lot of things will come out from that particular refinery. Now, when you have this information in your hand and you are using it to market a product in that area, the hearer will pay attention to you. Those fears will go. And most of the time, some of us will begin to talk about when a pain point, for instance, a client is expressing a kind of doubt, a kind of argument, we tend to argue, not listening to what the person is talking. What is the pain point of this particular person? You see what I'm saying? We are not listening. All we are doing is talk. In short, when it comes to the point of argument, we are the loudest who will speak. And in the course of speaking, we are creating more fears in the heart of this person. Let me tell you one of the worst things that we have as a Nigeria, as a nation. Information. Outside this country, when you go there, you will hear more of Nigeria than when you are here. The things you don't know about, they are exposed over there. And none of them is good news. Every one of them is negative, negative, negative. My son came yesterday. I have been persuading him to come since when I came. Come and visit. He will tell me that I will come. Okay, I say, okay, let me bribe him to buy his ticket to come. He refused. The ticket will expire. I would like, what are you doing? So this time around, I said, I put my feet down that you must come. And he chooses to come. Yesterday, I was at the airport. That's the reason why I came in a bit late today. In addition to some event that took place in my house this morning. My maid, who was pregnant, almost delivered in my house. If not for, So when he now came, while we were coming, he said, Dad, this is amazing. I have truly missed a lot. And I said, you see what I told you? Now, he's at home, walking around, moving, and so on and so forth. He has fallen in love already. He's already planning, telling me things that he wants to do. So what we hear is not real. Fake news sells. So you that is doing marketing, you have to scout for information that can make that person reduce the negativity so that positivity can accommodate the heart of these people. And sincerely speaking, most of us will say, I have a client, I want you to talk to this client, and I want you to make the sale happen. Now the question is, who collects the glory? The commission. I playfully made this mistake one day. Let me say something, man. I playfully made this mistake when somebody said that to me, and I said, I hope you will share the commission. Do you know that person thought that what I meant was that we would share the commission into two? He reported me to Mama Africa. You understand? And for me, I was like, this is not what I said. He said, I said I was going to share the commission with her. See what confusion communication can bring. So what I'm trying to say is that effective communication is being able to explain the point you have that are positive, that can affect whatever you are talking about in the life of the hearer. And for the hearer to receive that message and be able to receive it and understand the message and give you a feedback. That's effective communication. Every slide you are seeing, that's a summary of the whole thing. So somebody is complaining to you that, Nigeria, I don't want to come to Nigeria. Right now, the rainy one is Lagos and the East. How many of us have witnessed that? I want to take all my investment from Lagos to the East. The belief is that the election gimmicks that they throw out there in order to enable people win their election is going to hold. There is fear. How do you now communicate to these people that this is just election, way of winning election, nothing more? Are you really telling me that the people of Lagosians, Julius, you are a Yoruba man, are you really going to drive us away so that only you can stay? Can that happen? Now, so you need to dig deep to get informed, to be able to speak and communicate effectively to this particular set of people that are already agitating. But in a way, it's a good sign. Good sign in the sense that the neglected areas will be affected positively in terms of development. All right? All of us have seen what is happening in Asaba today. Asaba is a place where you have civil servants. All right? People come there to rest and go. But today, it has become a business hub. It has opened up the whole thing. Why? One statement that is misunderstood. We ought to grow beyond just talking. We need to communicate and communicate effectively. I have a lot to talk about in communication, but I'm giving a summary because if you look at this, these are the 4 skills that are involved in communication. So you talk about engaged listening, just like what some of you are doing. You have the nonverbal communication. That is, somebody is talking to you, but what he means inside of him is different. Then you have the managing stress in the moment. For instance, you have a situation that has stretched someone or yourself. How do you manage that when you are communicating with other people? Asserting yourself in a respectful way. Irrespective of who you are, you must respect yourself. Some of us want the money only, but we don't want to go through this process. So, the common barrier to have effective communication, they include the following. Number 1, the slide. You know, stress and out of control emotion. You know, when I was to set up Pwan Heaven, there were certain things I look out for. Having stayed abroad for some years and coming, I began to study the environment. It took me 6 months. I know how to drive. I have driven there. I have driven here. But when I came back, I couldn't enter the road with a car for 6 months. I was not able to drive. I was looking at the stress level of the society we live in. And I came out with a kind of a system for workers. And I said, number 1, if I'm getting an office, I will get an office that is a bit close to the road so that when the staff drop, their walking distance to the office will not be too long. So that to avoid emotional stress. Then we look at proximity to your workplace. I said, if we are employing anybody, the distance between where he lives or she lives shouldn't be too far from the office. I achieved that. And so when I interview people, I'm looking at where is your location. Some people say they are in Yaba. And I told them, you can't work with me. Not because you are not qualified, but location. The reason is this. For instance, a staff is stressed up. He comes to work. By the time it is 3 o'clock, that staff is no longer working with you. He's thinking of how he or she will get back home. And so he has shut down. And this has been a norm in the system. So when I begin to look at this, I began to understand that stress will hinder our communication. It's part of what is actually happening. The person will go out of control whenever he's talking to you. If you have a client in front of you, or you have maybe a PBO in front of a customer service relation person, for instance, it's going to go out of control if care is not taken. So this is one of the hindrances. All right? I said you cannot multitask and communicate. Please, anybody who can master that should come in front here and tell me that you are communicating with somebody and you are multitasking. It's not possible. So you need to pay attention. You need to listen intently to be able to receive what the other person is saying. Lack of focus. When you are not focused on a discussion, guess what happens? You lose the ingredients of that communication. So when you go to a place and you are talking to somebody and the person is not listening to you, please stop and make sure that the person is paying attention to what you are saying. All right? Yes, can we go on, please? So that we'll finish this on time. Inconsistent body language. Here I said you cannot be talking to somebody and the person is doing like this. Meanwhile, what he's saying is positive. He's saying yes, and he's doing like this. Yes and this. I don't think it's a good communication. It's an inconsistent method of communicating. It has to do with you, your dressing pattern, right? The way you look. When you appear in front of somebody, I've heard people say, some of the ladies that are doing very well, do you know what they do behind the scene? And I always tell them, respond to them. You go and do. Let's see whether you will succeed. You understand? Don't come and badmouth people who are succeeding. Say, do you know what they do? Okay, you that know what they do, you go and do it, whether you will succeed. Negative body language is one of the major issues that affect effective communication. Effective communication skills. 1, become an engaged listener. 2, I've explained all this. Tips for becoming an engaged listener. Focus fully on the speaker. I've spoken about that. Favor your right ear. Normally, communication, if you look at it very carefully, even the phones we use, they tell us to use our left ear more. The right ear is actually connected directly to your brain. And so when you listen from the right side of your ear, you hear more clearly. And you can actually pick those small, non-verbal signs in communication. Now, avoid interrupting or trying to redirect the conversation of your concerns. Listen to me. This is a big one. That is what I was saying initially. When somebody has a complaint, for instance, who among us here have not had a complaint from a client that P1 does not allocate? Now, this is truth the person is saying, right? And you go on the defense and start saying, no, no is a lie. No, we allocate. No, listen to me. There are 2 grades that P1 has achieved. Number 1, Elerongbe. That was the place it all started. This is an undeveloped area. And at that time, our slogan was discovering affordable land in developing places. What is the slogan for today? Developed everywhere, Abi? Uh-huh. So you can see the migration. So every complaint you are hearing is consistent with the past. It's not with the present. This is one of the 2 that you need to know. You have to get this information. And so when somebody comes, he said, 5 years ago I bought a land, I have not been allocated. Tell the person is the chapter 1 of P1. The chapter 2 of P1 is a different ball game. Right now, even you, as we who are the MDs of companies, we know that if we don't develop, sales become issue. Abi I lie? So you are seeing the migration. And a time will come that land sales will begin to reduce and will go into migrating into building. It's happening already, stylishly, but you may not listen to, you may not understand or see it, but it's happening already. All right? When we were building Haven Residence, we just did fulfill all righteousness. By that I mean learning process. The second unit that we almost completed in another, I think about 1 or 2 weeks so, that particular unit, I was saying it playfully that those who bought the first one, they will insult us. Why? The design is different. Everything that is there, quite different. What has happened? Migration. You need to get information to be able to communicate. Some people will call and say, send me the video of, let's say, Crystal Heaven. What happened? And sometimes I ask questions. Where is your location? It's not because I don't want to sell. Of course, I can send you the video or the flyer. But that won't help you. The reason is that if you are not there, you cannot tell how it is. You go and see. I just spoke about Haven Residence. That is the B part of it now, that I spoke about now. If I don't tell you this, most of us don't even know that something like that is going on. You sit and wait for the manners to fall from heaven. It no go fall again, no. God showed that since the time of the children of Israel. When it was time for them to enter into the promised land, he made sure that the first thing that stopped is that manna. And the moment it stopped, he gives credence for us now to go and use our hand to go and source for what we will eat and what we will use. So don't sit in one place and wait for information. Move. Go for the information. Pursue them. I spent about 3 hours, 45 minutes with the president sometime in May, June. And there was a shift. She didn't know that while I was there, I was actually recording things in her presence. The activities that were going on, the way it is organized, the way she is attending to 1 or 2 things. What am I saying? That singular communication that she did in my presence affected me positively. In other words, when something is in front of me, I can reorganize myself to pay attention. She was talking with me and attending to people, attending to memos. She never missed one word. Some of us will be distracted. And you think it started today? No. It didn't start 12 years ago or 13 years ago. It's embedded in her. Knowledge put into good use is what? It's called power. Not knowledge is power, because some knowledge are foolish. Why? When they are not put into good use, what happened? They became rotten within us. You need to express yourself, but you need information to help you express yourself. Provide feedback. For instance, you are discussing with someone, and after discussing with the person, or somebody is talking to you, take a pen, a notepad, and take note down. I have 2 phones. Perhaps you don't know. When I sit down and somebody is speaking, and you see me looking at my phone, some of you think that I'm looking at video. What I'm doing, I'm taking notes. There's a notepad here. And I'm taking notes. I'm taking note. The vital points that concern what I want to improve on, I take them. After taking them, I go back home, check myself, screen myself to make sure that I become perfect or good in that area or improve in that area. Please, I beg you, as a PBO, it is your business to get knowledge. Nobody will get the knowledge for you. I have seen our beautiful ambassador, no event in the group that you call that she will not be there. And guess what? She drives herself. She's not scared to go back home in the midnight, but she will be there. And let me tell you, why do you think this lady will not succeed? And you are looking at her, you say, do you know what they do? Go and do what she's doing. Be committed to the business. Attend meetings if your life will not be transformed. So, when you talk about providing feedback, for instance, somebody speaks to you or is communicating with you, go, as you are taking notes, ask questions. Is this what you are saying? This is what I'm hearing. Let it be cleared through that same person to you that no or yes, that's what I mean. That communication is now complete. Now you can provide a very effective response to this person to clear whatever doubt that is there. Look, I have a kind of character. I don't hide what I do. I don't hide it. I talk about it every time. When I was coming to Nigeria and I discovered this, going and coming, and I said I want to do real estate, some people said, you have gone to join them. Including my pastor. You've gone to join them. And I said, join what? He said, the 419ers. I said, well, no problem. The end will justify the means. Knowledge put into good use become powerful. And I'm urging all of us who are here, don't be lazy in communication. Don't talk. Pay attention to some signals that people are giving to you. You are talking to a client and is trying to, the facial look and the body language is telling you that, please finish quickly. Respect the person and leave. You can reschedule a meeting with this person. If you are a professional, this person will make sure that you come back to him or her. The brand Pwan is, because me, like I said, I study things a lot. I have to go and study. How can this happen? That a product like this has not diminished. The product is flourishing day in, day out. And I began to wonder, what has happened or brought it to this? It's just effective communication. The purpose of this brand is not hidden by the founders. I'm sure if you meet chairman on the road, chairman will talk about P1. You meet Mama Africa on the road, she is going to talk to you about it. In short, the visionary speak is a pointer to what I'm saying. That is a different level on its own. It's just, I call it testimony time. She testify of it and teach you what she has done. He said to earn money is good. But when you have people or you empower people, you are more worthier. My understanding is what I'm defining, sir. You see? So, sincerely speaking, you can see, like I said, how many of us are here were about 500 or 600 people? But guess what? Each family here represented have somebody at home that is benefiting from this. So outside the 500 or 600 that is here, plus another 600 which is at home, or another 1,200 which is times 2 that is enjoying what we are talking about. So how can you joke with such thing and not be able to master it? So I'm encouraging you and appealing to you. Don't be lazy. You come to me, you say, mentor me. I will put you on a task. Some of you run away because you feel that it is too hard. Fred, is too difficult. But I'm communicating something to you and you are not listening. Loosen up. Free yourself. Make sure that you master the use of words and language. But first of all, get information. When you get information and you are well informed, then you can actually communicate effectively and answer whoever will ask you any question. I don't want us to go too much because, like I said, I've explained and explained and explained. I want to sincerely appreciate the founders once again. And I want to thank God for the platform that they have built. And I'm grateful that all those who are coming on the platform, none of us have dwindled. So we'll continue to grow and make the founders proud. You know, sometimes I will say, Mama, you work too much. Go for holiday. I will sponsor the holiday for you. She never come back to me. She doesn't come back to me. But I know what she's doing, building a structure. Thank you, ma. You have done excellently well. And God will continue to enhance you, will continue to grant you wisdom, give you a sound mind, great health to be able to carry on. I know the weight is heavy because some of us, we judge the book by the cover. And in the end, when the book turns out to be a good thing, we begin to regret. The chair, I appreciate you, sir. It's a privilege that I do not take for granted. And I tell all my children about it. Luckily for me, I don't have children who are wearing diapers. They are all grown-ups. My last is 20. And they all understand what Pwan stands for in the family. Till I die, this is what I will do. Bring anything on the table for me as a business, it won't work, except it is related to this organization. I've never done it, it will never happen. All right? And I'm committed to this. No matter what, I will serve. As long as my breath remains. God bless you all.
Release. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we all be upstanding? Put your hands together for our keynote speaker. I'm talking about no other than Ambassador Dr. Frederick Efeogene Okpajin. Please, you can do better. You can do better. That's an amazing timeout. Effective communication. Come on, P1 Group, you can do that. And also a sponsor for Lagos edition